What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. College men's basketball. Arkansas Razorbacks versus Mississippi State Bulldogs. Arkansas is a 61.9% chance to win, and Mississippi State is a 38.1% chance to win. This is at Mississippi State. So Arkansas is 21 nation, 16-6 record. Mississippi State's unranked, 11-11 record. Arkansas has more for stats. Arkansas has more points per game. Mississippi State has slightly more points against. Arkansas has a higher field goal percentage. Mississippi State has more rebounds per game. Arkansas has more assists per game, and slightly more blocks per game, and has more steals per game. The only stat that's really big difference is points per game. Like it's a 10.9 difference in favor of Arkansas. So I would say, despite the home field advantage that Mississippi State has with the points per game advantage, I think Arkansas will beat Mississippi State tomorrow. Louisville Cardinals versus Wake Forest Deacons. Louisville has a 77.7% chance to win. Wake Forest has a 22.3% chance to win. This is at Wake Forest. So Louisville's 24 nation, 16-6 record. Wake Forest is unranked, 11-11 record. For stats, Louisville has more points per game. Wake Forest has more points against. Louisville has a slightly higher field goal percentage and has more rebounds per game, assists per game. Wake Forest has slightly more blocks per game and has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Wake Forest will get the upset and beat Louisville tomorrow. Miami, Ohio RedHawks versus Marshall Thundering Herd. Miami, Ohio is a 59.8% chance to win. Marshall is a 40.2% chance to win. This is at Marshall. So Miami, Ohio is 23 nation, 23-0 record. Marshall is unranked, 15-8 record. For stats, Miami, Ohio has more points per game, slightly more points against, higher field goal percentage. Marshall has more rebounds per game. Miami, Ohio is slightly more assists per game. Marshall is more blocks per game, and Miami, Ohio is more steals per game. The only stat that's a big difference is points per game. It is a 12.6 in favor of difference in favor of Miami, Ohio. So despite the home field advantage that Marshall may have, which I don't know how much that is, I mean with either team, I mean they're not really that large fan bases, but with the points per game advantage, I think Miami, Ohio will beat Marshall tomorrow. Duke Blue Devils versus North Carolina Tar Heels. Duke has a 76.8% chance to win, and North Carolina has a 23.2% chance to win. This is at UNC, so Duke is 4 nation, 21-1 record. North Carolina is 14 nation, 18-4 record. So with home field advantage, I mean Chapel Hill and Durham are within reasonable driving distance from each other. So who knows how much like home field advantage will actually play a role, because a lot of those three like schools in that triangle, they're pretty close to each other. So with stats, Duke has more points per game. North Carolina has more points against. Duke has a higher field goal percentage. North Carolina has a slightly more rebounds per game, assists per game. Duke has slightly more blocks per game and has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close. I mean, a lot depends on with home field how they distribute tickets with the away teams and home team. Odds are there will probably be more due to how tickets are distributed, like with non-students and all that. And when you have that student section, there probably will be more UNC fans there than Duke fans, so it probably will be a home field advantage. So I think with how close these stats are, I think North Carolina will beat Duke tomorrow. Illinois fighting Illini versus Michigan State Spartans. Illinois is a 48.3% chance to win, and Michigan State is a 51.7% chance to win. This is at Michigan State. So Illinois is 5 nation, 20-3 record. Michigan State's 10 nation, 19-4 record. For stats, Illinois has more points per game, points against, field goal percentage is even. Illinois is a slightly higher, has slightly more rebounds per game. Michigan State is more assists per game. Illinois is slightly more blocks per game, and Michigan State is more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Michigan State will beat Illinois tomorrow. Clemson Tigers versus California Golden Bears. Clemson has a 67.4% chance to win, and Cal is a 32.6% chance to win. This is at Cal. So Clemson's 20 nation, 19-4 record. Cal is unranked, 17-6 record. For stats, Cal is more points per game, points against. Clemson's a slightly higher field goal percentage and is more rebounds per game. Cal is slightly more assists per game and is more blocks per game. Clemson is slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Cal will beat Clemson tomorrow. Florida Gators versus Texas A&M Aggies. Florida is a 57.8% chance to win, and A&M has a 42.2% chance to win. This is at A&M. So Florida is 17 in the nation, 16-6 record. A&M is unranked, 17-5 record. For stats, A&M is more points per game, points against, slightly higher field goal percentage. Florida is more rebounds per game. A&M is more assists per game. Florida has more blocks per game. A&M has more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Texas A&M will beat Florida tomorrow. Tennessee Volunteers versus Kentucky Wildcats. Tennessee is a 43.9% chance to win. Kentucky is a 56.1% chance to win. This is at Kentucky, so Tennessee's 25 nation, 16-6 record. Kentucky's unranked, 16-7 record. For stats, Tennessee has slightly more points per game. Kentucky has more points against. Tennessee has a slightly higher field goal percentage and has more rebounds per game, assists per game. Kentucky has more blocks per game, and Tennessee has slightly more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think Kentucky will beat Tennessee tomorrow. Houston Cougars versus BYU Cougars. So Houston has a 58.8% chance to win. BYU is a 41.2% chance to win. This is at BYU. So Houston's 8 in the nation, 20-2 record. BYU's 16 nation, 17-5 record. For stats, BYU has more points per game, points against, higher field goal percentage, more rebounds per game. Houston has slightly more assists per game. BYU has more blocks per game, and Houston has slightly more steals per game. The only stat that's really big difference here is the points against one. So the points against, it is a 11.6 difference in favor of Houston. Other ones are pretty close, but despite the home field advantage that BYU has, you know, with the points against difference, which hints at, a big difference in the quality of the defense between the two teams. I think Houston will beat BYU tomorrow. NBA. Houston Rockets versus Oklahoma City Thunder. The Rockets have a 38.4% chance to win, and the Thunder have a 61.6% chance to win. This is at OKC for injuries. For the Rockets, Tate and Van Vliet are out, and Adams is out for the season. For the Thunder, Williams, Mitchell, Gilgeous, Alexander, Topic, and are out, and Sorber is out for the season. For stats, Thunder have more points per game. Rockets have more points against. Thunder have a higher field goal percentage. Rockets have more rebounds per game. Thunder have slightly more assists per game, blocks per game, and have more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Thunder will beat the Rockets tomorrow. Golden State Warriors versus Los Angeles Lakers. The Warriors have a 47.4% chance to win. The Lakers have a 52.6% chance to win. This is at LA. For injuries for the Warriors, Podziemski is a game time decision. Porzingis, Cryer, Curry, and Curry are out for the Lakers. Kennard's a game time decision, and Thiero and Doncic are out for stats. The Lakers have slightly more points per game and have more points against, higher field goal percentage. Warriors have more rebounds per game, assists per game, slightly more blocks per game, and have more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Lakers will beat the Warriors tomorrow. Philadelphia 76ers versus Phoenix Suns. The Sixers have a 47.2% chance to win, and the Suns have a 52.8% chance to win. This is at Phoenix. For injuries for the Sixers, Embiid's a game time decision, and George is out. For the Suns, Livers, Allen are out, and Green and Booker game time decisions. For stats, Sixers have more points per game, points against. Field goal percentage is even. Sixers have slightly more rebounds per game, assists per game, and they have more blocks per game. And Suns have more steals per game. These stats are pretty close, so I think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here. So I think the Suns will beat the 76ers tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.